This edition of the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960 or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance, makes you laugh and cry at the same time. Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple Music, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show merchandise at themikewagnershow.com and also on Amazon.com at the Mike Wagner Show podcast, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, and more. Also, check out the Mian Mohsen Zia store on Amazon for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also, cool merchandise like t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, and a lot of great gear. Go to Amazon.com/Mian Mohsen Zia. Make sure you order today, and don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM /support, as well as PayPal at PayPal. patreon.me/Mike Wagner voiceover or paypal.me/Mike Wagner Show, or simply click the donate button on the MikeWagnerShow.com and make sure you give generously today. We're here with a terrific lady who's backed by a popular demand on the Mike Wagner Show. She was previously on the show last time talking about the podcast Concrete Pillow regarding justice reform in Florida. Also, once again, talks about the story about how her son was unjustly arrested for a crime he did not commit, and also the founder of WeHeart Florida, nonprofit organization dedicated to bring criminal justice reform to a broken system. We'll be talking about that, and also more on the FMR rule, the Ryan-Holleact, and of course, she's got some updates as well, too. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studio somewhere in sunny Florida, the founder of WeHeart Florida, and she's also the heading some social reform. Ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented Lisa Antonini. Lisa, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Good evening, Mike. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on back, too. And we had you on a while back. You talked about your podcast, Concrete Pillow, regarding justice reform in Florida. You also shared your story about how your son was unjustly arrested for a crime he did not commit. And also, you're also the founder of WeHeart Florida, a nonprofit organization dedicated to bringing criminal justice reform to a broken system. Also an update on the FMR felony murder rule and the latest on that. You also have a brand new act to bring to Congress of Florida as well, too, the Ryan-Holleact, and basically just an update. And before you talk about what's been happening, very quickly tell us how you got started and talk about how your son ended up being involved as well.
Well, 16 years ago, my youngest son, who was 18 at the time, took a phone call from a friend, and he was trying to help a friend who called asking for a favor. And they met a couple other gentlemen that day, and the other two gentlemen had plans on robbing both teenage boys, my son and his friend. And when the gun was produced, it was fired, and it struck my son's friend, killing him, unbeknownst to my son. And as tragic as that was, he did die. My son, as well as the gentleman that had the gun and his friend, were all charged with first-degree murder. And not knowing a lot about the criminal justice system at that time, immediately contacted an attorney and just did not understand how that could be someone who harmed no one, did not take a life, could be charged with first-degree murder. It just didn't make any sense. So we hired an attorney. We went to trial, and the prosecutor made it seem that my son knew of the intentions of the other person, which was not the case. My son and his friend were teenagers, and these two gentlemen were in their early 20s at the time. So after a week-long trial, they found my son guilty. The jury found him guilty, and he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And the law that was applied in this case is called the felony murder rule. It's called the FMR for short. And loosely stated, if you are present during the commission of a felony and someone loses a life, you and everyone present can be charged in that homicide. And in this case, there was a robbery taking place. This other gentleman with the gun planned on robbing my son and his friend of whatever cash they had. So it was a robbery turned homicide. So under the felony murder rule, everyone present can go down for that homicide. And as unfair and unjust as that seems, it's used daily. It's used. There's only a handful of states here in the United States that have done away with the felony murder rule altogether. There's maybe, I think, 5 states right now. So majority of the states here in the U.S. still use the felony murder rule, and the United States is the only country in the world that still uses this form. It comes over from 17th century England. That's how archaic and outdated this law is. But after my son's trial and watching, some of the things that the prosecutor did and said, and I just, it didn't sit well with me. And so I went to school. I started going to school at night, and I started studying criminal justice. And I ended up a couple of years in finishing with my degree and decided that that wasn't good enough. So I wanted to educate other people and make this law known to try and get this law amended. And that's what our goal is right now here in Florida. So I got together with a friend of mine. She's a mom as well, and her son also was sentenced to life under felony murder rule, and he was a block and a half away when a shooting occurred and someone was killed. And I won't get into details on that case, but so her and I have joined forces, and as a result, we have started WeHeart Florida, and HEART, H-E-A-R-T, is an acronym for Help Educate to Achieve Reform Together. And so that's what we've done. And right about the time that COVID broke, we were planning on getting out in the community and talking to people, church groups, and wherever we could get people to gather to really start spreading word about this law and try to get this law amended. But then COVID broke, and that stopped us in our tracks. So we took to social media and Facebook and Twitter and whatever other means we could use to talk about this law. And part of our process has been to contact Florida legislators, because our legislators, that's where our laws come from. That's where a lot of our decisions are made as to what becomes law and what doesn't. So we have had Zoom meetings with several legislators here in Florida. And one thing that was very interesting that I found is when I spoke to one of our senators here, this is his last year in the Senate. He told me, he said, a lot of people just don't know about this law. And not only do they not know about this law, but if you explain it to them, what this law means, this law only carries a life or death sentence. That's it. There is no 15-year, 20-year, 25-year sentence. It is either a life sentence or the death penalty. That's it. And so he said, just keep telling your story and keep telling these stories. And people need to know. And I've always said people don't know what they don't know. And so that's what we've been doing. We've been talking to as many people as we can, informing voters. When you go to the polls to vote, know who you're voting for, know what their platforms are, know where they stand in criminal justice reform. Because right now here in Florida, our prisons are on the verge of collapse. A year or two ago, our Secretary of the Department of Corrections was in Tallahassee at our Capitol and talking to our legislators and telling them that our prison system was on the verge of collapse. We were in crisis mode 2 years ago because our prisons are overcrowded. There is no air conditioning in our state prisons. And down here in Florida in the middle of July and August, we get 95, 96 degree temperatures, and the humidity is over 100. So you get 80, 90, 100 guys together in a dorm in a prison that is all concrete walls with no ventilation and no air conditioning. In my opinion, that's kind of inhumane to do that. But a lot of people just don't know. A lot of the voters here, just people in general, don't realize our prisons are not air conditioned. It's just human warehousing at this point. They're short staffed, and they're just beyond full. And a lot of these laws came about, and doing my research, doing my schoolwork, a lot of these laws came about back when the Get Tough on Crime and the drug laws came about in the 80s. So somebody that is in prison now that, let's say, had a drug charge in their 20s, and now, they've been in 40 years and they're in their 60s, I think they deserve a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that everyone is redeemable and deserves a second chance to prove themselves. And somebody who was sentenced in their 20s to life without parole, that's a bit extreme. And here in Florida, there is no more parole, which a lot of people are not aware. Florida did away with parole in 1984.
Wow.
So unless you were sentenced before 1984, there is no parole. And you serve 85% of your time here. So if you're sentenced to 25 years, you're going to serve 85% of that time in a non-air conditioned facility. I mean, and it's just when you really start learning about some of the conditions down here and some of these unfair laws, and I've had people say, well, if you kill somebody, you should go to prison for the rest of your life. But the felony murder rule is a net that draws everyone in for those that didn't harm anyone. So, it has to be looked at a little differently, because to apply a net like that over, if there's a car full of people, 4 people, and they're all in the car together, and somebody, they say stop at a convenience store, and someone from the car runs in and they rob the convenience store and they shoot and kill the clerk, everyone outside in the car can be charged with that clerk's murder.
Even when you're sleeping or your back is turned?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And we currently have a bill that we have. We work with O'Mara Law Group down in Orlando, Mark O'Mara and his attorneys. And we have a bill right now that it points out the flaws in this felony murder rule. And we're looking to have this law amended. And this bill is called Ryan Reform Act. And Ryan Holley he's on our team. He's with us 100%. Ryan Holley, his story is very unique. His story comes out of North Florida. Some years ago, I think he's been in 12, 13 years or so. He'd been partying with some friends, and they were all, at Ryan's house partying together. And Ryan went in to go to sleep. He'd had enough. He wanted to go to sleep. And his roommate asked to borrow his car. And he gave the roommate the keys. The roommate took off. And Ryan went to bed and went to sleep. The roommate picked up a couple of other guys, and they went to a drug dealer's house with the intention of stealing the safe that allegedly contained drugs and money. And when they got to this drug dealer's house, they encountered the dealer's young daughter, who was home, and she was ultimately beaten to death with a shotgun,
God.
with the butt of a shotgun. She lost her life. It was a very sad story. And those 3 gentlemen that were together that committed that crime were all tried and sentenced and found guilty in this girl's death. What is really the most egregious part of that case is that Ryan Holley, who was home in bed asleep, was also charged in that young girl's death with first-degree murder.
And all because he lent the car to those guys?
He loaned out his car, yes. So by loaning out his car, he facilitated and enabled those men to go commit that crime.
And of course, yet he didn't know what they were going to do.
No.
Oh my gosh.
That when people hear that story, and Ryan's case has made national headlines. Former actor Charles Grodin had got involved in Ryan's case years ago. There's been a lot of people that have been very outspoken about Ryan's case. And Ryan's story does have a somewhat happy ending. His case came up for clemency back in 2015 here in Florida. And at that time, Governor Rick Scott was our governor. And he heard Ryan's clemency hearing. And Governor Scott granted Ryan clemency. And when he granted that clemency, he stated that Ryan should not be held responsible for the actions of these other men, he doesn't have the same culpability as these men that committed this crime and killed this young girl. And so his clemency was granted. And basically, Governor Scott back then said, this law is broken. Helling legislation here in Florida, this law is broken. And nothing's been done since then. We have not had any meaningful criminal justice reform bills passed here in Florida since 2015. But Ryan's case was granted clemency. His life sentence was commuted to 25 years. And he does get out. He will be getting out in 2024. He's got just about 3 years left to serve. but he's going to have served 25 years in prison for a crime he never committed. He was home in bed asleep, had no idea what these guys were going to go do. So when you look at this law, this felony murder rule, from that perspective, everyone that I've ever talked to, looks at me and says, how is that possible? How am I responsible for what somebody else does? Mike, if you go out tomorrow and you fall on a patch of ice and you break your leg, and I say before that, Mike, don't go outside, there's ice out there, and you fall and you break your leg, is that my fault?
No.
Exactly. Because you chose to go outside, you took the action upon yourself to go outside, and you fell on the ice and you broke your leg. By the way, I hope that never happens.
Well, but, it hasn't hit yet, to be quite honest with you. And also another thing, too, before we take a time out, this edition of the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of the Mike Wagner Show.
This is also, the whole thing has cost taxpayers hundreds and thousands of wasted dollars. And how much would you say the dollars have been wasted so far, and what percentage has been wasted so far on this whole FMR deal?
Well, I can tell you right now, statewide, we have between 500 to 800 inmates statewide serving under the felony murder rule. And it costs roughly $40 a day to house one inmate for 1 year.
Wow. And
So
there'd be $40 a day, and then let's see, I'm trying to do the math here, so I'm trying to figure this out. So yeah, it'd be what?
It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, 365 times 40, and that would be, I'm doing the math here as we speak on the Mike Wagner Show. I'm doing this right here, and 5 for 20, and do 24, and about 12. We'll just say $12,400, and then say about say 10, 20 years, it'd be like hundreds and thousands of dollars. So we're not going to go into the specifics, but at least you get the idea. It's like, what, over $12,000 a year, per inmate. And then, like, say they serve, 10 years, it's like $120,000, or 100 years, it'd be like about 1.2 million. Unbelievable.
Well, and that's one of the things that we go to Tallahassee, we talk to legislators, we speak whenever we can publicly, and we talk to people in general, and just, the law is not fair. It sentences people for crimes that they didn't commit. It is a huge burden to taxpayers when that money can be better spent on rehabilitative measures, They've done away, down here in Florida, they've done away with a lot of the substance abuse programs and the mental health programs in the prisons because they don't have the money. And money is consistently being cut from DOC, Department of Corrections budget. So now they're having staff shortages. So the inmates are outnumbering the guards 3-1.
Wow.
And it's just costing a fortune for taxpayers. And what a lot of people aren't really aware of, and I found this very common when I talk to people publicly, the prosecutor he holds all the power in the courtroom. The prosecutor decides what to apply, what charges to apply. They know what punishment each charge has, and the judge has no discretion in the courtroom. And a lot of people think, well, the judge can stop that or the judge can fix that. That's not true. The prosecutor holds all the power in the courtroom, and they know when they apply that felony murder rule that if they can prove that their case, that person's going to spend the rest of their life in prison, and there's nothing the judge can do about it. And prosecutors are elected officials. They are not hired. They are elected. And that is why it is important for voters to understand who you're putting in office, who you're keeping in office, and if they're not going to do anything for criminal justice reform. Our prisons are collapsing. They just closed 4 state prisons here in Florida.
Wow.
And they're shuffling inmates all over the state. Inmates, there's pictures coming out now from the prisons. Some of these guys, men and women, get contraband cell phones. And there's pictures coming out now of mattresses on the floor, and inmates are sleeping on floors. There's bugs, there's rats, there's, the floodwaters from all the rains that we get here in Florida in the summertime, hurricane season. We get rainstorms in the afternoon. And some of the pictures that are coming out now and getting leaked onto social media, they're horrific. They're absolutely horrific. And it's just our system down here is just so dysfunctional and disastrously broken. And, here we have this great bill that would amend the felony murder rule, and we named it the Ryan-Holleact Reform Act, RHRA, because Ryan's case, when the clemency was granted, the governor pointed out then that this law is broken and it needs to be fixed. And since that time, our legislators here in Florida have done nothing to change our system. And now we're at the point of collapse within our prisons. And 4 prisons are closed. They're closing work annexes. It's really dire situation here in Florida. And you look at some of these other governors in some of the other states who are doing everything they can to get out, the medically needy or the aged prisoners, somebody that went in their 20s that's now in their 60s. Do they really pose a threat to society? And you have a lot of these no-nonsense governors who are looking at, their inmate populations in their own states and doing things about it. They're doing things to change it. And here in Florida, like I said, since 2015, nothing meaningful has been done, and that's what we're fighting for. That's what we're doing. That's what Heart is all about, is educating people out there, voters, constituents, everyone, the general public. We need change, and we need it badly. And, too many men and women are in there serving long sentences for crimes that they didn't commit, and that's not what our criminal justice system should be about.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, how can we help?
Stop by and visit weheartflorida.org. You can find us on Facebook, WeHeart Florida. We have a group page. We have a public page. And contact me. I'll speak. I'll talk. I will talk to anyone that wants to be educated. Ultimate goal here is to get to our legislators. We are trying to get this bill sponsored right now. I'm going to share this on our page. I'm going to share this recording on Facebook. I'm going to send it to some of our legislators in Florida that I've been speaking with, because I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to sit down and be quiet until this law is amended. And what we're looking to do is amend this so that anyone who was a non-participating person, their sentence has to be capped at 15 years. No more life sentence, no more death penalty. We're just looking to have it amended, not completely abolished yet, just amended. And we need a bigger voice. We need more people behind us to say, I agree, this is wrong and this needs to be changed. And if you're here in Florida and you're listening to this, please reach out to WeHeart Florida. Contact me, contact Amanda, and we need your help, whatever we can do to get through to our legislators, specifically our governor, Ron DeSantis, that this law has got to be changed. We need to get these men and women out of these prisons for crimes that they didn't commit.
And what else can we expect from you in the future, Lisa?
I don't know. I've been asked if I'm going to run for office.
It's okay. You can challenge Rick DeSantis or get help from Rick Scott. It's okay.
Well, and I have reached out to Rick Scott, and I have reached out to Ron DeSantis, and I get the generic letters back like, thank you for being a wonderful Florida citizen. We appreciate you so much. You know, I get that kind of generic coverall, thanks for doing a great job. But I just believe in standing up and fighting for those who can't fight for themselves. And if it wasn't this law, it would be something else, because I just don't like seeing people done wrong. And I'll stand up for that any day of the week, and I'll go against anybody. I don't care who they are. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And if you have the power to fix it, fix it. That's all I'm asking.
And certainly we'll do so once again here with Lisa Antonini of WeHeart Florida here on the Mike Wagner Show. Once again, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing, and looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date on the FMR situation, WeHeart, and also on the Ryan-Holleact as well, too. And once again, tell us how can they reach you, and what's your website, and where can they check out all your information, and once again, how can we help?
You can reach me at www.weheartflorida.org. You can find me on WeHeart Florida on Facebook, WeHeart Florida. I'm on Twitter. You'll find me tweeting a lot with some of our representatives, and just really spread the word. And, look up in your state and see if felony murder rule exists in your state, because I know this is going to air nationwide and worldwide, but here in the United States, like I said, there's only about 4 or 5 states that have done away with it. Hawaii, Kentucky, Michigan, and I believe Illinois. And California is working on it right now. Their governor out there is amazing, and he's doing a lot of great things. So really, we need support. So to ask what you can do to help, support us, back us, and help us be a louder voice for our legislators so we can get this law fixed. And guys like Ryan and my son, they have a chance to be productive members of society. We all make mistakes. We all make bad decisions in life. We all make mistakes. And under felony murder rule, under some circumstances, prosecutors decide that you should pay with your life for that. And I don't agree with that. That's not a fair assessment. So people deserve second chances, and like I said, we all make mistakes, but some people are worthy of second chances, and that's what I fight for. So just let me know that you support me, that you agree, and that you want to help, whatever. You can write to our legislators, even if you don't live in Florida, that you heard this podcast. But that's the thing right now, is we are targeting our lawmakers and our legislators. They start session January 11th, 2022, up in Tallahassee, and I will be up there in January at the Capitol building. So I'm a regular presence in their face, and I will until this law's changed. So
we certainly will do so. Once again, Lisa, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic as always. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, and don't forget to keep in touch, and make sure you keep us up to date, and we definitely wish you all the best.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I appreciate all your time. Thank you again.
Picture this photo books, where remembering is the key ingredient. Preserving memories, keeping the memories of your loved ones alive as they reach in and touch your heart. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whether it's a gift of past holidays, grandma's recipes, long ago moments, or just because. Those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809. Once again, that's 646-798-0809. Or visit picturethisphotobooks.com.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.